On the night of August 15th, 1977, nobody was listening. The Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University was scanning the sky automatically, recording data onto paper printouts that nobody would read until days later. At 11:16 p.m., something happened. A signal arrived from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. It lasted exactly 72 seconds. Then it stopped, and it has never been detected again. A few days later, a volunteer astronomer named Jerry Ehman sat down with a stack of printouts and started going through the data by hand. His job was simple: look for anything unusual in the numbers. Most of what he saw was noise, random interference, background radiation, the ordinary static of the universe. Then he saw something that was not ordinary. The data was printed as a series of numbers and letters representing signal intensity. Low signals were single digits: 1, 2, 3. When intensity hit 10, the system switched to letters. A was 10, B was 11, C was 12. What Ehman found on that printout read 6 EQUJ5. The U, the highest letter in the sequence, represented an intensity of 30 times stronger than anything else in the surrounding data. Ehman stared at it. Then he picked up a red pen and circled it. And in the margin, without thinking, he wrote a single word. Wow! That word gave the signal its name. And in the 48 years since, nobody has been able to explain where it came from. Here is what made the wow signal so significant that scientists still argue about it today. It had exactly the properties that physicists had predicted in 1959 an alien transmission would have. In that year, physicists Giuseppe Cocconi and Philip Morrison published a paper in the journal Nature that became the foundation of SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. They argued that if any civilization in the universe wanted to send a message that another civilization could detect and recognize as artificial, they would broadcast at a very specific frequency, 1,420 megahertz, the frequency of hydrogen. Why hydrogen? Because hydrogen is the most common element in the universe. Any civilization advanced enough to build a radio transmitter would know what hydrogen is, would know its frequency, would understand that this frequency was the logical place to listen. It was, as Cocconi and Morrison wrote, the most significant frequency in the universe. The wow signal arrived at 1,420 megahertz, or close enough that the difference could be explained by the movement of the source relative to Earth. It was narrowband, meaning it occupied a very small slice of the radio spectrum, exactly as an artificial transmission would. It was not broadband noise like natural sources tend to produce. It was focused, precise, like a laser compared to a flashlight, and it came from deep space, from a direction with no known astronomical object that could have produced it naturally. 3 characteristics, all 3 pointing in the same direction. Here is where the story becomes uncomfortable. After Ehman published his findings, the scientific community did something reasonable. They tried to hear it again. The Big Ear telescope spent the next 3 years pointing at the exact same region of sky, searching for any repetition of the signal. Nothing. Other telescopes around the world joined the search. The Very Large Array in New Mexico, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, dozens of SETI programs over the following decades. Nothing. In 2020, a team using the Robert C. Byrd Green Bank telescope conducted one of the most sensitive searches ever attempted at the exact frequency and coordinates of the original signal. Nothing. As of today, 48 years, dozens of telescopes, and hundreds of observation hours later, the wow signal has never been detected again. Not once. So what was it? The scientific community has proposed several explanations. The most discussed natural explanation was proposed in 2017 by astronomer Antonio Paris. He suggested the signal came from a hydrogen cloud surrounding a comet passing through that region of sky. 2 comets, 266P/Christensen and P/2008Y2 were in the vicinity at the time, but the hypothesis faced immediate criticism. Seth Shostak from the SETI Institute pointed out that comets don't typically emit strong narrowband hydrogen signals at that frequency. And more critically, comets at that distance move too slowly to appear in the telescope's beam for 72 seconds and then disappear. The timing doesn't work. Other explanations, terrestrial interference, satellite transmission, telescope malfunction, were examined and largely ruled out. The signal came from a fixed point in deep space. It had the exact frequency and properties of an artificial transmission, and it lasted exactly as long as the telescope's field of view would have allowed a signal from a fixed celestial source to last. In 2025, researchers from the Arecibo WOW project published new analysis of the original data, including archival observations not previously examined. Their conclusion: the signal was probably not caused by terrestrial interference. A possible explanation involves a naturally occurring maser, a cosmic amplifier of microwave radiation, triggering a brief brightening in an interstellar hydrogen cloud. Possible, but not confirmed, and not universally accepted. Jerry Ehman himself, the man who found it, spent decades being careful about what he claimed. He never said it was aliens. He said it was unexplained. In his own words, "We should have seen it again many times if it were coming from a fixed point in the sky, and we haven't. That's the part I can't explain." In 2012, a group of scientists decided to respond. They aimed a powerful radar transmitter at the coordinates of the WOW signal toward the constellation Sagittarius and broadcast a message into space. The message included a basic introduction to humanity, prime numbers, mathematical constants, images of human beings, and information about where we live. It will take approximately 25,000 years to reach the center of the Milky Way. Nobody knows if the original signal came from there. Nobody knows if anything is listening in that direction. Nobody knows if our response will ever arrive anywhere meaningful. We sent it anyway. Here is the part of this story that I think about the most. The wow signal lasted 72 seconds. In those 72 seconds, while the Big Ear telescope swept across its source, something was transmitting at the exact frequency that human physicists had predicted an intelligent civilization would use to make contact. And then it stopped. Maybe it was natural. Maybe it was a comet's hydrogen cloud interacting with the interstellar medium in an unusual way. Maybe it was an instrument artifact that nobody has been able to reproduce or explain. Maybe. But here is what is also true. We have been searching for 70 years. We have pointed telescopes at millions of frequencies from millions of directions. And in all of that listening, in all of those years, all of those telescopes, all of those hours of recorded static, there is exactly one moment that made a scientist pick up a red pen and write a single word in the margin. One moment in 70 years of silence that looked like something. It lasted 72 seconds. Then it was gone. And whatever it was, wherever it came from, it has not come back.